What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now today we have an exciting video, and today I have my top 5 boots of 2024. And I feel like for 2024 we had like a great year for football boots. We had excellent releases, and I feel like this is probably one of the best years we've had in like for football boots in a while. And today I'm going to tell you guys my top 5, and these are boots that I have tried and that are general releases, so no limited edition boots. And also they had to be released in 2024. So like the Pred 25 that released this year, I am not counting that boot just because that boot is basically for next year. So those are kind of the rules, I guess. All right, so we'll start off first with honorable mentions. So the first one that I have here is the Adidas F50 Elite. Now they brought back the Adidas F50, which is great. And this boot overall, I really like it. It has a nice grip like texture here. It's more like a rough texture. And overall, it does things really well. I really like this compression fit that they have in the midfoot. It feels really nice and secure. And overall, yeah, the new F50 feels great. I just like the other boots that I have on the list a little bit better. And the second boot that I want to give an honorable mention is this boot right here, the Puma Ultra 5 Ultimate. And now this boot is great. It makes a huge improvement coming from the previous model, and that's why it has to have an honorable mention in my opinion. Um, like I said, I feel like I like the other boots a little bit more than this one, but this one still, like, I had a really fun time wearing this boot, and it fits really nicely, and it just feels like a nice like pair of speed boots. I do have the MG version. I kind of do want to try the FG just because it'll probably give me more of that speed boot vibe. This one, just safe on AG obviously, but the upper here is great. It's not the most like pliable. There is some like not stiffness but more structure to it, which is good because the lockdown is good. It has some like grip here on the upper because of the, I forgot what they call it, but it's really grippy. And yeah, overall, I think it's a fantastic boot, a huge improvement coming from the previous model, and that's why it gets an honorable mention. Alright, guys, so in my number 5 spot, it goes to the Nike Vapor 16. Now, I think this is a really good boot from Nike. I really like that they implemented grip knit onto the Superfly, and it's not the exact same found on the GX. It is slightly different. It is a bit thinner. I find it to be a little bit softer, and also you still get that grip, but not as much as the GX2. It's more subtle this time around, which is good. So if you like having a grippy sensation but not overly grippy, this is a great option. The Superfly, they overall made it a little bit more accommodating to wider foot types, which for me, since I do have a wider foot, I do really appreciate. I feel like other people that have a narrow foot like may not like the new shape just because it is a little bit on the wider side compared to what it used to be. But for me, I just find them more comfortable. I'm able to fit in them, and I'm able to experience the Superfly again. I believe the last Superfly that I wore was the Superfly 6. After that, they became a little too narrow for my foot and they were just uncomfortable. And it wasn't until the previous model that I was able to wear Superflies or Vapors again. And this one just makes them more comfortable. This is probably the more comfortable like Superfly that I have tried for my foot shape. And overall, it just performs really well. I actually do like the Air Zoom unit here. It has a really nice like unique sensation underfoot. And yeah, overall, I really enjoyed wearing this boot. All right, the next boot that I have is a boot that just came out of nowhere and I actually really enjoy wearing, and it is the Soito Sceta. Now, this boot, I've seen other people like make this boot their number one boot, and for me, it's a really excellent boot. I really love wearing it, but it just doesn't match my foot type like the best. I do have a wider foot, like I said, and this boot fits very, very snug. And even though I can fit in it and it does fit really comfortable, I don't have any weird pinching here on the sides, which is great. It just doesn't really fit my foot shape all that well, even though it's still pretty comfortable. And also the heel, I did get a little bit of a blister on my left heel, and so that was a little bit annoying. So that's why it kind of dropped a little bit. And ever since then, I have not had a blister. It's been fine. Like I guess it was just like the beginning, like the first couple wears, but it's fine now, and I find them very comfortable. I really like this BioTouch upper, which is nice, soft, pliable. It is on the thinner side. It's a little bit softer than the Hybrid Touch upper found from Adidas, and yeah, overall, it's a really good boot. It performs well, and I feel like I just haven't had enough time in these boots, just because it has been really cold and I've been trying different boots, and so I do want to get more time in these, obviously. But for me, it's still one of the best releases of 2024. I can't deny that. But I just haven't had enough time. Maybe if I had more time in these, they would have been higher up in my list. But for me right now, it sits at number 4 just because I think I prefer to wear other boots that I have on my list before this. but it's still an excellent option. I highly recommend that you guys try this Soito Sceta, especially if you do miss the 2014 Adidas F50 Addy Zero. This is very close to that, and it might actually be better. In third place, I have to give it to the Adidas Predator 24 Elite with the foldable tongue, obviously. Now, this boot properly brought back the Adidas Predator vibes with the fold-over tongue and like the really aggressive like striking elements here. And for me, it's a really comfortable boot. The hybrid touch upper is pretty soft, nice and pliable, and it gets softer as you play with them. You know, the heel lockdown isn't the best in this boot. That's why I feel like it came down to number three, but it still performs all right. Like there's just slight like rotational movement in the heel, so you know that's the only reason why it's kind of in third place. And overall, I just really like the way this boot feels when you're striking the ball, especially with the grip elements here. You're just able to get nice spin on the ball. It feels like when you're striking it, you feel the rubber elements, and it feels, I don't know, I just really like that sensation that you get when striking the ball with the rubber strike elements here. And these are nice and grippy. And like I said, the upper's just soft. And it actually fits my foot shape really well. Like it just fits it exactly right. I don't really have any weird pinching here on the sides. This whole play is pretty good. And overall, I just really enjoyed wearing the Pred 24. The Rotero could have easily been on this list just because it has a nice like fusion skin upper that is leather, nice soft, and it overall is a little bit wider, and so it feels a little bit more comfortable. But because this was a limited edition boot and not a lot of people were able to get them, I don't want to include limited edition boots, and this one was considered a limited edition, but still a fantastic boot. Pred 24 sits in third place for me. All right, so in second place, we have the Nike Phantom GX2. Now, for me, this boot is just super comfortable. It matches my foot shape really well just because it is on the wider side here in the midfoot. It does have more of a narrow toe box, but I'm okay with that. The grip knit is just excellent. It's grippy all throughout the upper, and it's pretty consistent, and the grip that you get is really significant. You do really notice it. For me, I just really love the way the grip knit feels. And then shooting with it, you do see that it does provide some spin on the ball, and so you're able to curl it if you do have the technique a little bit easier. The stud pattern here, I do have the AG sole plate, which is what I prefer. The FG sole plate, the Cyclone 360, I don't really like just because it feels a little too chunky. And obviously, it's too aggressive for an AG pitch. And so this one, you know, it just feels a little bit more natural, more flexible, and it has all conical, which is perfect for AG. And you know, the boot overall performs well. And for me, it's just that this boot is super comfortable, and I just love the way it fits. So that's why it takes second place for me. All right, so in first place, it's this boot right here, the Mizuno Alpha made in Japan. Now I'm just kidding. Obviously this boot released like I think maybe around 2 years ago now. It's on its second year, and this boot is still amazing. It's still one of the best speed boots out on the market. It's still one of the best boots in the market, in my opinion. And so for me, I have to include the Mizuno Alpha in this like video just because it still, you know, performs better than other boots in my opinion. It still has a better fit, at least for my foot shape. And you know, even though there are new boots out in the market, this one goes toe to toe with those boots, which is actually very impressive just because this boot came out like more than a year ago. But this boot is just fantastic, and for me, I just had to include it in the list. This year, I did try the AG sole plate, and it's fantastic. And so the Mizuno Alpha, for me, it's my favorite boot out on the market right now. And yeah, it's an excellent option. All right, guys. So my boot of the year, it is this boot right here, the Adidas F50 Messi edition. Now, yeah, this boot is just super comfortable. I really love that they changed the upper with a hybrid touch upper, and it's just soft. It is a little bit on like the thin side with a little bit of padding. It's a bit wider also here in the midfoot, and it's more accommodating just because you do have that like burrito style tongue. And so for me, it just creates a bigger opening here in the midfoot. And for me, this is one of those boots that I just wanted to wear, like when I just had a chance to wear any boots that I wanted when I wasn't testing anything. And it was just kind of this boot that I really wanted to wear all the time. And so for me, it's just one of the best boots that came out this year. Like the sole plate is excellent. The upper is just, you know, the hybrid touch upper that they, you know, used here is just great. It's not the same one as the Pred. This one is a little bit softer, more pliable, and it's a little bit thinner than that one. The heel for me is pretty good, and I really like it. But mainly, it's just like the comfort that I get from this boot, just because this hybrid touch upper just really kind of stretches a little bit and forms to the shape of your foot. And because it is slightly on the wider side, at least here in the midfoot for me, it just fits my wider foot a little bit better. And even though the toe box is pretty low and like really low in volume, it's still pretty comfortable. I really enjoy wearing this boot a lot. And so that's why this is my boot of the year. Alright guys, so that's it for today's video. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys were surprised by my list. Let me know what your favorite boot is. If you guys want to list your top 5 or your top 3 boots of 2024, just let me know down in the comments. I'm really interested to hear what like people's choices are, just because I feel like this year we just had so many great releases. There's a lot of boots out there that are just fantastic. Some boots I just didn't include were the New Balance Tequila, the Skechers boot were also really good. The Mizuno Morelia, like the new one, the 4 is also excellent. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you're notified for future videos. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.